Happy Saturday, and welcome to the first episode, hopefully, in a series called Minecraft and Memories, where I go through things that have happened to me in my life. Nothing too terribly personal, just some crazy or stuff and everything like that. And I've been around for a while, so I figured, got crazy stories, might as well share, right? So, as you can tell, we are definitely doing a little bit of Minecraft, and I just kind of want to lower the volume just a little bit. There we are. Okay. Not doing anything too spectacular, I think, right now. I'm just kind of building the house up a little bit, but anyway, so this episode is going to be, well, like I said in the title, it's going to be about my time working as the director of press for Animeland Wasabi. And I'm going to preface this now and let everybody know that I am not looking to, uh, I'm not going to mudsling or anything like that. I mean, yeah, there were some people that I did, I butted heads with, and I may have disagreed with a few things where they're concerned. But all in all, the people that I did work with were genuinely good people. A lot of them really did have the best interest and at heart for the con, you know. And again, I'm not looking to throw any shade. I mean, yeah, I might mention a few things here and there, but believe me when I say it, I'm not out to ruin anybody's life or whatever. Obviously, I'm not going to be name dropping because I don't want a witch hunt. Um, but you know what? I can't really control the actions of people or whatever, nor am I looking to influence them. So that being said, oh, and also, I know that there's a section of the life story that has to do with a certain individual at another con, and that story is actually, you know what I did. I already did a podcast explaining that entire scenario. Um, and you can actually go to the Violet Wanderers. They're a really cool group. I had a lot of fun just talking to them. They have a really cool podcast. I would highly recommend um, checking them out. I did put their link, or I did put their Twitter handle in the description below. So yeah, go give them a follow. They do a lot of really good podcasts. They're very prominent in the LGBTQ plus community, um, and they're generally real sweet people, really. And as somebody who's a cis male, they made me feel really comfortable. It was really awesome. Like I said, super sweet people. So yeah, go check them out. And well, that's it for the plugs. Let's begin the story. So back in, I want to say, oh gosh, probably like 2008. Um, I had never, up until that point, I had never ever been to a con in my life. A lot of people that know me know that I'm not really big on anime. I'm not. I've never been. It's not that I don't like it. Um, it's just I don't particularly like the fan base sometimes. Uh, don't. Gosh, that's gonna come out really bad. Where the hell am I going? Okay. The thing is just I'm very picky, very picky about what I watch, and I have a checklist of uh, of what an anime series or a one-off essentially has to tick, a certain amount of boxes before I even want to even check it out, And actually, I know what I need: more coal. So yeah, that kind of. Oh shit! I'm gonna go in there. I'm totally unprepared. So yeah, when it comes down to that, I just don't. I don't. I don't watch a lot. I can't just like go to Crunchyroll or personally me. If I watch anything, I watch it on Chia Anime. Um, that's just my place of choice. Um, uh, if like I said, if it doesn't tick a lot of boxes, I'm not interested. Anyway, getting off topic. So anyway, I wasn't very big in anime, and my co-founder to my website, Jason, is a good friend of mine. He had suggested that, or him and some others were just basically trying to push me into going kind of out of my comfort zone, right, and getting me to attend a con. And I'm just like, okay, well, I've never been, and I don't dress up, I don't cosplay. He said it's fine, don't worry about it. You'll still have a good time. And I said, okay, cool. I'm a trisexual. I'll try anything once. So I went, and honestly, the first time I went, the first con I went to was NDK, Non-Desu Con, which is a con that happens in Colorado every year, and they do put on a great show. They do, and so I was happy that I got to go. It was really fun, and so that kind of got me into the con scene a little bit. Was my buddies there, and going into it, I was just kind of like, well, it's a con. Like I said, I don't watch a lot of anime, so uh, I really wouldn't know who to talk to or any of that shit. I was just kind of like, I was just, it was kind of a foreigner at that point. I'm just like, I don't really know what I'm doing. But then I remembered that anime and gaming do go hand in hand, in a way. And in some cases, uh, there's games based off of anime and anime based off of games. More the former than the latter, but they still it's still there. So they kind of have a bit of a um, symbiotic relationship, to say the least. So that's kind of cool. So yeah, that was kind of like the driving point as to why I decided to go. Well, anyway, I need torches, and so anyway, well, I think I was about a month after, because I did not go to the first Animeland. Um, I was, for some reason, word got round to the people that run Animeland that I had experience in journalism, which I do. And they said, well, we could use somebody who, to run our press, because we really don't have anybody, and it's one less thing that we have to worry about. And I said, okay, well, I mean, I haven't done something like this before, you know. But they're like, well, we have a show coming up, and we want you to be there. Now, with Animeland, when they started, and my history on this might be just a little bit rusty, but they used to have 4 shows. They used to have one in Minneapolis, one in Denver, one in Nevada, and one in Albuquerque, New Mexico. So it was, let's see, Animeland Wasabi was in Denver, Animeland Makiba was in Minneapolis, Animeland Otaku Mex was in Albuquerque. Oh, no, 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 I'm sorry. Makiba was in Nevada. I don't remember the name of the one that was in uh I don't remember the name of the one that was in Minneapolis or whatever. Um so yeah, sorry. But anyway, Well, four shows under one brand, when you think about it, that's a lot of money, because you're essentially spreading your resources to four different states. Now, on paper, it's a brilliant idea, because that means that you're a brand and you're giving a you're doing a show in four states, which means that four times a year you're doing a show. Um, Now, most conventions are typically nonprofit, and I say most because there are some that aren't. But all the proceeds that they make from the con goes back into uh, getting a hotel and getting blocks for the hotel and all that other stuff. And by the way, if anybody happens to watch this that might be interested in becoming a staffer for an anime convention or whatever, this will give you a good idea of what to expect behind the scenes. And don't worry, it's not all doom and gloom. There are some good times, but don't let my sporadic negative experiences sully that idea of wanting to do something like that, because again, it's just the luck of the draw, and I happen to have a shitty deck. So anyway, but anyway, so they're like, well, we got a show coming up in Albuquerque, and oh no, I take that back. I did go to Animeland. I apologize. So a month later, after NDK, I went to Animeland Wasabi, and I met some people that I still talk to this day. I met some great voice actors. I met That's how I met Warky T. That's a new noise. That's how I met Warky T Chocobo, Steve Nunez. Even though he's a bit Hollywood now, he's still a friend. That's how I met. Oh gosh, Julie Ray Goldstein. I met her. I met the Queen, Her Royal Highness Yamiya Abraham. I love you. If you're listening, you're the best. Um, and just and a whole lot of people that work there. So and some of them I still talk to this day. Great people. Uh, so after that, yeah, that's when word got around that I did some journalism stuff, and they're like, well, we got a show coming next month, and we'd like to give you a trial run. I said, okay, sure, why not? I've got free time. So I went and took that long ass trip from Denver to Albuquerque, New Mexico, to where Otaku Mex was being held, and this was my first time being a director. So going into or not as a director, but I wasn't like full fledged and official or whatever. I was just kind of like, you know what? I was just kind of like, I don't really know what's expected of me. And they said, well, the show's already been marketed out, so there's really not a whole lot for you to do. But in the same breath, we'd like you to just kind of watch and observe how a con works. I said, all right, I can do that. So they're like, we're not going to make you, a con staffer. We just want to get you an idea. We want to give you an idea of what it's like. And I said, all right, that makes sense. A little behind the scenes look. So I do that. And, I'm kind of like a volunteer at that point, which, by the way, um, for anybody who has volunteered at cons before, let me tell you something. You've got my utmost respect. The shit that you folks put up with, I don't know how you do it, but kudos to you, seriously, and I mean that. So, yeah, so I was kind of a volunteer. They had me at registration, and I was just, taking money and giving tickets and all that other stuff. So it was pretty simple stuff. But anyway, so at that point, they sat down and they're like, okay, so what can you do? And my power just flickered. they're like, okay, so what kind of stuff can you do as far as journalism goes? And they kind of grilled me on everything, and I'm just like, well, I know how to do this and this and that. And they're like, perfect, that's exactly what we're looking for. I was like, okay. So yeah, that was the best, and that was like the only interview in my life I've ever had where it was successful to that degree. I need iron, I need coal, I need to go mining. Ooh wee. Remember, I am still playing a game, folks. So I mean, I still got to build a roof on this fucking thing. Otherwise, well, maybe I don't. It's just a workshop. Yeah, you know what? It's an open air workshop. There we go. Problem solved. All right. Anyway, I need iron. I need to find a dig spot. Where the hell is my bucket? Did my brother take my bucket? I think he did. Son of a bitch. He did take my bucket. Motherfucker, he did take my bucket. Alright, well. Thank you, Random, for stealing my fucking bucket. Hey, that drowner has tried it. I'm gonna go steal it. Anyway. So, after, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. Beat the shit out of Charles. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you with Charles. Alright. Now I know there's a gorge over here that I can go down. Oh, hello. There we go. Alright, well this works just fine. Whee! Sorry if anybody got vertigo from that. I apologize. Alright. Anyway. So, so yeah, that was it. And that's kind of what cemented me into basically becoming their head of press. Okay, and for the first couple of years it was fine. It was pretty easy stuff. Nothing too terrible. And somebody just joined. Hello, Gabriel. Happy Saturday. Anyway, back to what I was saying. If you're just joining us, we're, sing for you, please. I am not the best singer anymore, dude. I have a damaged throat, so I really can't sing all that well. Maybe on another stream, though, for sure, since I wasn't really prepared for this. Sing My Little Pony. I don't watch the show. I don't. I don't sing. I'm sorry. I wish I could, but I don't watch the show, man. Otherwise, I totally would. I don't even know how it goes. I remember the '80s one. So anyway, after a couple of years of working for Animeland, everything was fine. I got to know a lot of really cool voice actors. I got to know some of them by first name. I still talk to them to this day. But one of the things that I did notice as I continued to work for them is that I started to notice that it was their guests, their choice in guests. Now, I'm just going to say now that this isn't me. Oh, thanks for hopping in. This isn't me knocking on voice actors, period. I highly respect the work that they do. And I consider it a form of manual labor. And I feel that they definitely should be getting paid more for what they do. And I've been a huge supporter of that for quite a while. But it is what it is. Unfortunately, it's a system it's a business, and it's maybe akin to Hollywood, I guess, in a way. But I mean, honestly, I think they should be getting paid more for doing what they do, and I will stand by that until the day I die. But anyway, but I just noticed that a lot of the stuff that they were doing just didn't. I don't know. I couldn't fathom their choice in guests, and I was like, well, this anime is hot right now. Okay. That's a new sound. That's a very new sound. I've never heard that before. Um, so I would always bring this up. Like, well, there's there's this anime's hot right now, so let's, what do you say that, since they're on like a mid-season break, what do you say we grab, this person or whatever. So I would make suggestions, but they would always fall on deaf ears. Right, so yeah, it was kind of frustrating a lot of the times because I was just thinking, okay, well, if you go on the Facebook and you look at the page, there are people that are like, well, they're basically repeating the same thing that I did. They're like, well, hey, this anime is really popular right now, or this show is really popular. Can you see about getting said person? And the only reason at that point that I was trying to suggest bringing in um, different voice actors, then not that I didn't want the ones that were there, but some new, some new blood, so to speak, was because again, one of their biggest things was they wanted to put butts in seats. Well, the thing that puts butts in seats is new content, new shit. Okay, and again, not shitting on the anime alumni, the Animeland alumni, because I'm not going to do that. I'm just simply stating a fact that if they at one point would have at least, you know, listened to at least took my suggestion and if they would have just took the suggestion, then maybe we wouldn't have gotten so much hate. You know, and of course, bringing it up to them, it was always the same diatribe. It was always the same shit. Stay in your lane. Okay, well, I respect that. But the thing, what I find fucked up about the most of that quote is that the con head would always tell us, hey, if you have a suggestion or anything that might better the Animeland experience for people, bring it to our attention. Well, god damn it, I did exactly that. I would bring it to their attention, and I would get told to stay in my lane. Well, then why the fuck did you ask us for a suggestion in the first goddamn place? That makes no sense. None of that shit makes any sense. And that is precisely what started me down this down the slope of getting fucking frustrated with the con with that particular con, because they would tell me one thing and then I would do it and then I would get told another thing and I'm just like, what the fish? So you're gonna sit there and tell me that you want me to make a suggestion, but you don't want me to make a suggestion? Like, that shit don't work, huh? I could never understand that, and it fucking irritated me to no end, no fucking end. So a couple of years go by, and then I'd say about a year, another year passes, and then the Ginny McManus incident starts. Now, again, I'm not going to get into it because this is kind of what started the quote unquote Animeland versus NDK war when there really wasn't a war. It's just what we had. Okay, so there was. Animeland had a lot of haters. Okay, they did. And there were people there who didn't want Animeland to succeed because one, it was run by two black folks. Okay, that's one reason. And if you motherfuckers that are watching this shit, you're wrong for that. And or two, because they thought that Animeland was trying to compete with NDK, and we weren't. And the Animeland was not looking to compete with anybody. Here's the thing: NDK is a very large show, but they don't own the fucking block. They don't own the con scene in Colorado. No fucking convention owns a fucking con scene. I don't give a shit how big they think they are. Okay? It doesn't work that way. They weren't a business, at least they don't claim to be. So there's no need for a competition. But again, these fucking idiot fans. And I know I said I wasn't going to throw any shade, but I never said I would throw any shade as a group as a whole, and not just on one person in particular. So, suck it. But these idiot fucking weebs just just had this idea that we were trying to encroach on NDK's turf, or we were trying to take over the Denver concert. The fuck we were. We were not trying to take over jack shit. You know what we were trying to do? You know exactly what we were trying to do? We were actually just trying, I say we, because I was part of that. And, we were trying to just put on another show. That's literally it. Because there was only one major anime con that was happening at the time before Starfest, and they got another con right now that's ironically run by Jenny, which to her credit, is actually successful. And honestly, as much as we've had our issues, I really honestly wish her nothing but the best. So if it's successful, good for her. Good for her. I mean, she's still a shitty human being, but good for her for being a woman and running a con and making that shit work. Awesome. Good job. Hopefully, it inspires other people just not to be shitty like you. So, but we weren't trying to beat out NDK. We weren't trying to do that. We were just trying to give people a show, specifically at the beginning of the year, to kind of give them something to hold. Like we knew that NDK was the big boy on the block. We knew this, okay, and we didn't care. The only thing that we were trying to do was just give people a show, give them something to nibble at before the big dinner shows up. Just to give them a snack. Just give them a little snack before dinner arrived. That's what we were trying to do. That's it. We weren't trying to take shit over. We weren't trying to do everything. But anyway, these fucking oxygen stealing mouth breathers just that's all they could sit there saying. They sit there and they talk shit and they bash the con, and and me at that time I was very, very prideful over the convention. I was like, you know what, I these are really cool people. They gave me a shot at something. It's not like I owe them, but I'm not gonna fucking sit there and let somebody talk shit and take it. So yeah, there were times where I fired back at people, and well, not everybody, but at least the ones that deserved an STFU or a GTFO. You know what I mean? So there was that, and then so and then I've got more controversy coming. So anyway. So at one point in time, Animeland had forums. Okay, most conventions do, although well at the time conventions used forums. Nowadays, it's not really that big of a thing because most people could just talk on a Facebook page, or now they have like one forum where people can just communicate about a convention and just have a thread or something like that. And oh, there goes my shovel. And God, I don't know why I keep hitting start, thinking it's Bloodborne or something, or Blasphemous. Um, and so I took over the forums, and everything was fine, but I didn't have enough time to devote to the forums. Okay, so and this is a big controversial issue. I still to this day people blame me for it, and I have nothing to do with it. So, and I know about the situation. I've reached out to the person involved. I'm just gonna say his name because I have no idea where the fuck he is or where he moved to. I'm not associated with him anymore. But because of him, I went through a lot of bullshit. So honestly, if he's around, if he's got something he's got to say about it, he knows how to reach me. So towards the end of the forums, I was working at a different job, and I was starting to work a lot more. And so I was starting to work a lot more, and I could not. I just could not maintain, and moderate the forums and clean up and prune and basically do all the shit that moderators do. So at the time, I had a friend that I met through Job Corps, which is a trade school. I don't care what anybody says. And his name is Damien. Now, I know two different Damiens in my life. One of them is a super cool guy, a good friend of mine, martial artist, and very chill dude. I miss him dearly. So it's such a cool dude, and he's not dead. He lives in Colorado and I don't. But and then this guy, his name is Damien LaCroix. Um, I knew him in Job Corps. He, I don't know how to describe him. He's kind of a mixed bag. Here we go with the start button again. He's kind of a mixed bag. Um, he has a low tolerance for bullshit like I do. But when it comes to online forums and such, or like BBC, not B, is it BBP, BBM? It's that the code, the forum code or whatever. Um, oh gosh, I can't fucking think of the name. Anyway, but I was about to say BBC. Yeah, when it comes to big black cock, no, no. When it comes to the forum coding and all that stuff, the dude's a fucking wizard. So I handed off, and this is my fault. This is the one thing that I'll own to. I handed off credentials, admin level credentials, rather than just make him rather than just have him make a new account. I just handed him my username and password. This was my fault. I own it again. I just handed him my fucking password and login information under the pretense that he would just change the name and that would be it. Well, not only did he not change the name, but he continued to post under me because it was a name I was using, which was that guy in the hat, and I kind of had it. I had a trilby. I had a trilby before the neckbeard fedora shit happened, and actually, the trilby I did have when all that stuff started happening with the whole tipping it and saying "my lady" and all this other shit, I burned that fucking thing. I burned it because I didn't want to be associated with those fucking idiots. So yeah, I don't feel bad about it. I did at first because it was a gift, but I felt cathartic after the fact. So anyway, moving on. So I think I have enough coal. God damn it! Quit hitting plus. All right, I have plenty of iron, cobblestone. Got some more coal, some flint. Okay, wonderful. Oh, look, more iron. More iron. Can't have enough iron in your blood, right? So anyway, so yeah, I passed over credentials to him. I should have just made him an account or made him make one and then granted him admin access. That's what I fucked up at. That's what I did wrong. Okay? Now, here's where the controversy happens. So apparently somebody had made a post in the forums going on a fucking rant. Again, another unhappy, dissatisfied customer, I suppose, complaining about the con and what needs to be improved. And some of the things that they were saying were yeah, there were some things that I agreed with because I did see the post after the fact. And by after the fact, I mean like a year after the fact. And then, because at first people were just, yeah. But I'll explain that in a minute. I did see the post a year after the fact, and some of the things they were saying, yeah, that there were some valid complaints, and the other ones were just bitching just to bitch, and so Damien went on there and just started engaging with this person. Now here's the thing: Damien was not, and was never an Animeland employee. So why he chose to go on there and start talking, I don't know. But that made the situation so much worse because not only did he have a single clue about what he was talking about, but he was also talking to an anime fan. Damien hates anime, and I mean hates it with a fucking passion. He he's not he's really never really been the nerdy type outside of his forum stuff. I think he does a lot of PC gaming, or did. I don't know. I don't know if the guy's still alive or not. But he absolutely fucking despises anime and the fandoms. So when an opportunity like this presented itself, he took full advantage. And he went in there and he just fucking lit off. He just. What the fuck are these noises? Yo. I know I'm not crazy. Sound like machinery. Anyway. Alright, more coal. So, anyway, so he just went into that fucking forum thread and he just let off. And he, under my fucking username that he didn't fucking bother to change, and again, that's on me for not telling him to do that, he went in there and he said a lot of fucked up shit. He, I guess had some kind of basic understanding of how a con works, but not necessarily how to talk to somebody. And then the apex, the crux of the whole thing, he ended up, from what I could read, was that he took the person's post of them ranting about it, and he, I guess he went to Google Translate or something, and fucking turned it from English to German to make it look like it was some kind of like Hitler rant or whatever. And for like a couple of months after that shit, people were calling me a fucking Nazi, and calling me all saying I am a Hitler supporter and I'm a Nazi, and that Animeland's got a Nazi working on their fucking staff. And I was like, wait, what the fuck? And then so of course I'm gonna defend myself. It's like, first of all, I don't agree, period, with Nazis or Nazism or the movement or whatever the fuck it stood for. Damn sure ain't no fucking German. I'm, nothing against people from Germany, but I'm not, Nazi Germany is what I mean. Fascist, racist, whatever the fuck. I was kind of like, where the fuck did this come from? During that time, I was dealing with, I was still in the midst of the Jenny McManus bullshit. And then I had, there was to this day, I don't know what the fuck they were. Girlfriend, boyfriend, brother, sister pair that used to work or still do. I think they e-bag now. But, they used to be friends of mine. We had a falling out. I don't really remember what. But they just started talking shit about me, and I had enough of their bullshit. And then we'll get to that soon. Because that's a whole nother fucking issue on that one. But there was just a lot of shit going on. So again, I didn't find out about any of this shit until a year later. Well, I didn't find out about the post until like a year later, because somebody had pulled it up on the because the forums are now closed. So somebody pulled it up on like the Internet Time Machine or some shit. And so I was actually able to finally see it, and I was like, oh, that's why they were calling me a Nazi. Well, that's fucking stupid. So I emailed him. I was like, bro, what the fuck, man? I was like, what the hell do you think? And of course he was like, I didn't do nothing wrong, blah, 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 blah. Nobody should give a fuck about weebs and all this other shit. Like, he just did not care. And I'm like, do you have any idea the shit? And I still have the fucking emails to prove it. I'll gladly fucking, if anybody wants to question that shit, I still have the fucking emails that I emailed Damien. I said, bro, you need to get out there and fucking post publicly that this was not me, this was you. And he was like, nah, I ain't fucking doing that, bro, fuck you. So yeah, that really, it left a sour taste in my mouth. One of many where that shit's concerned. So, after that debacle, it started to get towards the tail end of the Animeland. Oh, I'm waiting for my iron anyway. It started to get to the tail end of the Animeland NDK war that never happened. As much as the weebs want to admit it. I shouldn't say weebs, but I will. They wanted a war. They thought there was a war, but there really was no war. But there was a lot of shit that went happen. Again, with the whole Ginny McManus thing, you know what? You can either do one of two things. Okay. you can go. Like I said, I was on a podcast with the Violent Wanderers. I told the entire story. I was reached out by Lynn Montanello, and she asked me to, another anonymous concerned third party asked me to tell my story. And I had not told that story in years. So I was like, why are we rehashing this shit again? Well, now I know why. Um, and this was around the time that the I Stand With Vic, Kick Vic thing was going on. It was kind of like the height. This is before they went to court over it. So when I did my story, you know, there was, I, I really don't know where the feedback comes from, honestly, but from what I understand is that people on Kiwi Farms, I guess, they put me not in the thread of my own, because I'm a fucking nobody, but like I said, yes, last night they put me in Lynn's thread, because unfortunately she's got one, and they put me in there, and they made a couple of comments, but that was about the gist of it. I'm almost certain Jenny posts in that forums. Like, that seems to be the kind of people that she would associate with, where she could freely talk down and talk shit about people and get away with it. Like, she is the type of person to be there. I don't know, it's pure speculation, but I got a gut feeling that she's a regular poster there, especially when it comes to matters of the con community. It honestly would not surprise me at all if she was a person who did that. But anyway, um, and so you know what? It's either you can go and listen to their podcast. I think I was on there for it was like an hour and a half long or something like that, where I just told the entire story that has never changed this entire time, and it never will. So, or maybe I might do a Minecraft Memories and do that again. But I don't know. I haven't decided. So anyway, back to the story. So this was around the time, like, it was towards the height of the wars and everything, and Animeland was starting to really dwindle down. Makiba, the one in Nevada, was long gone. Otaku Mech, sadly, they couldn't put on that show anymore, which really broke a lot of hearts, because Albuquerque loved that show. And I know why that they weren't able to put the show on. Money was an issue. They really wanted to do more, but unfortunately, with running a con, there are some heavy costs. There are some very, very heavy costs, and people don't seem to realize that. And you know what? We'll get to all that stuff towards the tail end of the stream. Um, so it really kind of sucked, because people in Albuquerque were very, very brokenhearted. And for the time that I went there and spent time just when I was there the first and only time, and I would have been in my third con at the time, my third time going to convention. Man, the people in Albuquerque were super cool, and super nice, and it was really sad. So. But at that point in time, they could really only afford to do Animeland Wasabi in Denver. So I want to say it was probably 2014. It was the year Juwario died. And look, I'll talk about this for just a second. I know now the kind of person that he was. I had no idea that this was something that he was doing. I had no knowledge of this, as did thousands of others. I don't condone his actions. I don't. And if he were alive today and I found out that shit, I would have driven to his house in Colorado Springs. I still remember where he lives. And I'd have probably bodied his ass. If you don't know what that term is, that means I'd have beat his ass. I would have bodied that motherfucker's ass. Because you don't do that shit. Period. Don't matter who the fuck you are, how much clout you have. You don't do that to anybody, to any woman, to any person, nobody. Unacceptable. And for the longest time, I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to accept it. I couldn't. I couldn't. I just couldn't. And I Mars Girl, of course, yeah, I get it where she's coming from. That's her business, whatever. She jumped on that shit the second she heard about it, like she acting like she fucking knew about it the whole time. No, she didn't. But she was quick to jump on it, and she was right to do so, right? But um, it wasn't until Count Dankula that at that point I was like, okay, well, there's that, and then there was another inside source that I'm not going to mention who did confirm that yes, that's what he did, and it does. I mean, it's fucking painful. He really was. He was a great friend of mine. He was, he was troubled. The man had his demons. That much is true. All right, but I don't speak ill of the dead. It's not in my nature. I hope that wherever he's at, he's finds peace. And as far as to the person or peoples that were affected by his actions, I sincerely hope nothing but the best for you, and then I hope that you can move forward and become a stronger person for it. I really truly mean that. But anyway, so moving back to it. So up until that point, I had Justin. I guess it's J-Dub, Juario, Justin, whatever. I had Justin attend the con the year prior. Both him and his wife had shown up, and I think that was 2013. It may have been 2013. I'm not sure. It's been so long. But anyway, I had him and his wife came up. I gave them press passes, and they were able to interview people from the con there. And that hotel was trash. That hotel was absolute garbage. Just because of the space and the staff there, they were horrible. I don't remember the name of the hotel, but I think everybody does, and I think they called it Hallway Con. Was what it was. I don't know. So anyway, then later that year, we got involved with a gentleman who is notorious in the Colorado fighting scene. I'll just say his name is Dancing Fighter G. I'll leave it at that. I won't say his real name, but I'll just say DFG. He is a crook and a criminal, and the entire Colorado fighting community knows he's a piece of shit. Well, anyway, this fucking Emmy Award winner gets brought on as the sponsor, and gets brought on as a bunch of shit that we honestly did need. This is right. This was my. This was the beginning of the end for me. They bring him in. Okay. So he has this. What the fuck am I even doing? He has this thing where he's gonna do the Animeland. It's like a pre-con pizza party or whatever. And he actually got, to his credit, he was able to pull some strings that none of us actually had with celebrities. But he managed to get. Oh, that's the other side. Maria Kanellis. If you don't know who Maria Kanellis is, she is or was, I should say, a WWE diva. She's actually really talented, and she's super sweet, very gorgeous. Her husband, Mike Bennett, is a phenomenal performer, highly underrated, and really wish they could have did more with him instead of that fucking cuck angle that they did in WWE before they did, send everybody on their merry way. I sincerely hope that he comes back sometime soon, not in WWE, but just in like a different brand. But anyway, so he was cool to get Maria Kanellis, and of course I invited Justin to the little party, and he drove. He drove in snowy fucking weather because it was like damn near on the cusp of a blizzard. He drove all the way from Colorado Springs to Inglewood, I think, was where the little get together was at. And he hung out with everybody. He hung out with everybody, and he walked around, and a lot of people some people recognized him, and those people who didn't, they were just very cordial, very polite with him. We sat in on, oh geez, I forget the group's name, but they do a lot of very tongue-in-cheek game shows, anime game shows. But they did one where they were using, they couldn't get away with it now. They would get like called racist, but then again, everybody else in the world, everybody's a racist nowadays apparently. They would get called racist immediately for doing what that. What they would do is they were mimicking those Japanese game shows, but rather than just mimicking the game shows themselves, they were mimicking the heavy accented English accents that Japanese people would tend to have if English is their second language. So the whole time, he's watching it. We're sitting in there watching it, and he was just like leaning over, and he was getting offended. Like Justin was visibly getting offended, and I could tell. And I was like, "Bro, are you okay?" He's like, He's like, "Man, this ain't cool, man." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Well, dude, you don't hear it?" And I said, "Oh, the accents." He's like, "Yeah, that's really offensive." And I said, "Okay, well, do you want me to?" I said, "Well, I'm a director." I said, "I can get up and tell him to stop," which I could. And he's like, "No, no, no, I got a better idea." And I said, "What?" And he goes, he's like, "You know those two puppets that talk a lot of shit on the Muppet shows, like Waldorf and that other asshole?" He's like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, what about him?" He's like, "We should totally become them." I said, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, absolutely." He's like, "We should be one." He's like, "I'll be Waldorf and you be the other one." I can't remember the other one. I apologize. So we did. We started acting like those two old asshole puppets, and we were talking shit the whole time, and it was funny too because they knew we were doing it, but to their credit, they wouldn't break character, which I still wish they would have because it was so fucking offensive. But it was the last thing Justin said that got one of the girls to break, and she couldn't stop laughing at that point. And she's like, "What did he say?" It was, "Oh, if I was 50 years younger, I was like, I'd dip my eggs." Oh, that's right. "If I was 50 years younger, I'd dip my egg roll in her soy sauce." Oh, he starts fucking laughing, dude, and that caused her to fucking break. And she just started cracking the fuck up laughing and had to leave the room. And that was the end of their show. And it was awesome. It was super fun. And then after that, me and the girl I was dating at the time, we took Justin out to dinner at Chili's, and that was the last time I saw him alive. And then a month later, I had saw it on his Facebook that he had passed away. And I know this is about Animeland. I know this whole thing is about Animeland, but this is part of it because this Justin passing away before I knew about all the accusations and the grooming and everything like that. This is before this, before I knew about it. I mean, again, I'm not going to speak ill of the dead. The man had his demons, but for the most part, he genuinely was a nice person, and I got along well with him because I saw past Giwario and I saw him for Justin Carmichael, and it was just, it was great. He said, one of the things I remember him telling me was, it's always nice to talk to somebody who looks at me as a person rather than somebody who's on YouTube. And he's told me that at J-Dub Central down in his basement when I was down there, and he was showing me around and showing me the spot where he does his videos, and we were going over his equipment and everything like that. That's when he told me that, and it really kind of struck me in the heart a little bit because it's like, well, thank you, man, because I saw him as a person. I saw him as Justin. I didn't see him as Juwario. Everybody else saw him as Juwario, but I didn't. Just like I don't see Kaylin as Mars Girl, I see her as Kaylin. Don't get me wrong. I'm a fan of her work. I'm glad that she does what she does, but I see her as a human being. I see her as a person. Um, But anyway, so that year that he passed away, that was like the worst year of my life. Okay, because that year, of course, Justin had killed himself, and then later that year, my mom died, and then a month after that, my mom's mom, my grandmother, died. That year fucking sucked for me. Now look, 2020 sucks for all of us. I'm right there with you. Believe me, I am. Okay, and I ain't trying to say my ires were more than everybody else's. Believe me, I'm not. But that year was a fucking nightmare. But anyway, so what ended up happening? God, I need more sticks. What ended up happening was that year for Animeland, we threw our biggest show. And by big, I mean lots of big names. Lots of big names. You had people from Battlestar Galactica there. Tara Rothery, I think, was there. You had... Oh, hey, what's up, Jay? You had John DiMaggio was there. He was a cool dude to talk to. I got to have a smoke with him outside. Super cool dude. Super nice guy. I got to meet Billy West. Very cool guy, especially for me. It was right in the childhood. Very nice guy. When I met him initially, I was going there to, but I mean, aside from, but I'll get. It was actually not a. It was a shit con for me, but I'll get to that in a second. When when I met Billy West, I introduced myself and I said, "Hey, how you doing? My name is so and so, and I'm the director of press and media here." And the second that I said that, he went into Farnsworth's voice from Futurama, Professor Farnsworth, and he goes, "Oh, you're the one who brings good news to everyone." And it was so cool to see him do that. It was so cool to see him do that. I fanboyed. You know, I don't do that very often, but that time I kind of did. You know, and it was really cool. So I never made me a pickaxe. God damn it. Damn it. So anyway, I lost now? Where am I going? Oh, right here. Duh. So anyway, that whole weekend was an absolute emotional shit show. One of my closest friends just passed. One of my closest friends had just killed himself. Okay, I had this sponsor who is a notorious criminal, and he knows he is, and he's a fucking snake oil salesman. And honestly, I wish that motherfucker would be. I hope to God that they put him in jail, because he fucked over so many people that weekend, including us. But anyway, that whole weekend was emotionally draining for me. Like I said, one of my closest friends just killed himself. I was going through that. I had never had up until that point. I've had friends that have died before, but not like that. Not like that. And it was rough. It was really rough for me. And I didn't know how to handle it. You know, neither did my girlfriend at the time. She had no idea how to handle it, but bless her heart for trying to be there for me. And she really did, and she really was. And am I still bottomless? Hold on. Oh God, I have no pants on. Okay, let's fix that. She really was. She did her best, and I'll always appreciate that. So, but anyway, so I didn't really know honestly what to fucking do. You know, I was like, I got a job to do. I know what I need to do, but I was, for the first time, I was like, I don't know how to execute it. I don't know what to do. I'm scared. I was like, I don't. For once, I didn't know how to do my job. I was stumbling over everything, but yet I still managed to hold it together, despite the fact that I had a 2 press conferences set up. There's that noise again. that machinery noise that I don't know where it's coming from, but it's probably part of the new game, probably part of the new update. But despite the fact that I had 2 press conferences set up, one of them, the audio guys decided to fucking disappear, and I was unable to get a microphone or a set of microphones for the high-profile voice actors that were there. I guess I shouldn't say quote unquote, because I mean, no voice actor is better than another one. They're all good in their own way, but they're all just same normal people with really cool jobs. So I don't want to put anybody on a pedestal, because yeah. There is, but at the time, for somebody like myself who had never handled these notable people, yeah, they were huge. So anyway, and so there's also more to that whole scenario too, by the way. Anyway, so what happened was the audio guys did not show up, and that embarrassed the living fuck out of me. Now, thankfully, from what I understand and from what I heard from other guests that know me more personally, a good chunk of the high-profile guests, they're out of their abysmal experience at that year's convention, dealing with me, as far as staff is concerned, dealing with me was probably the most wonderful experience they've ever had, and they thoroughly enjoyed my level of professionalism and courtesy, and the fact that I treated them like human beings and not as, gods or whatever. And when I heard that shit, I was like, ho ho ho, you know. Oh, hi. I don't actually speak Spanish, but hola, ¿cómo está? I speak a little bit. Maybe understand a little bit, but not a lot of it. So anyway, back to what I was saying. So yeah, so comments from like Billy West saying that dealing with me was a remarkable experience. Fuck yeah, that put me on cloud nine. But I didn't know about that until after the fact. Well, anyway, so ended up what happening was there was a second press conference that was scheduled, and this time I had managed to secure an actual conference room, because this time, with DFG kind of running things, he really kind of was, or at least he was fucking trying to. He was trying to run the show, and I saw it, and a lot of people saw it, but for some fucking reason, the con heads just didn't want to believe us. I don't know. Somebody had mentioned that he was related to one of them, or he was a close friend or whatever. But that tune sure fucking changed when he stole like $300,000 from us. At least I think that's what the number was. Like I said, I wasn't gonna be silent about this shit anymore. Okay, people need to know. And Animeland's got a negative rep, and I know Animeland's pretty much dead. But I mean, I'm just telling the truth. I'm telling it like it is. But anyway. So yeah, but that's jumping ahead. So I scheduled that press conference, and again, my emotions are all bottled up right now. I didn't get a chance to mourn my friend's death, and so I was all fucked up, and I don't drink. Well, at the time I did, but I didn't drink like heavily. That wasn't my thing, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, but. Somebody had told their handler, which is one thing I'm going to say real quick before I continue. I fucking hate voice actor handlers. I despise them. I swear to God, listen, I understand if you're a VA or VO, right, and you need, I don't, if you have anxiety and issues and shit like that, you know what? I totally get it, okay? But I'm just going to say something real quick from a con person's perspective. They are the worst fucking people to deal with. You don't see the side of them that we see. All right, and this is for any voice actor that's fucking watching this. Your handler is an absolute dick to con staff, hands down. He or she is an absolute fucking prick. They treat us like we are the fucking guy that runs the Ferris wheel down at the county fair, as Jim Cornette would say. They treat us like we're fucking stupid. Okay, I despise handlers, and I swear to God, if I ever run a con, if I run into a voice actor and they say, "Oh, well, can I bring my handler?" Fuck no. I don't want your business. I'm sorry. If you aren't an adult enough to show up to a convention and let security take care of you, I mean, honestly, what have you got to be worried about other than like fangirls or whatever, like glomping you or something? Nobody glomps anymore, you know. But is that even still a thing? Glomping? I don't know. Anyway, um, my thing is that I don't like handlers. I don't think they should exist, and they ruin everything. All right, and that's as much as I'm willing to say right now, because if I say any more, I'm liable to get in trouble. And well, who the fuck's gonna do anything to me anyway? So no, fuck handlers, and I'm sorry, voice actors. Please, for the love of God, you're a grown person. Show up with a handler, unless you have a legitimate reason as to in being in need of a handler. Like I don't know if somebody has like got a hit out on you or something, if they're a bodyguard or whatever, or if they're your significant other, that's fine. But please tell that person not to treat us like shit, because we're really only just trying to do our jobs. All right, ran over. So moving on. Anyway, so it was one handler. I forget her name, but she was a real piece of work, and she talked down to me so very much. Now, at that point in time, I was emotionally shattered. I was broken. In the normal circumstances, I would never let anybody talk to me the way she talked to me. Like that, no matter what the fuck's between your legs, nobody has a right to talk to me like that. But again, I was emotionally broken. I really didn't have the spirit to do anything. I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done. I just wanted to go home, and I wanted to just get a bottle of Kraken and a couple liters of Coke and just fucking let off, you know. But like I said, my girlfriend at the time, she really supported me through it, and you know what? That's one of the many things about her that I miss. Um, so anyway, something happened to where, from what I understand, the story is DFG gave her the wrong time. And ooh, Ruby, or no, it broke it in. Okay, I got another one. Gave her the wrong time. Well, thing is that what his stupid ass didn't realize is that I saved all my emails, all my correspondence with him, because I knew how much of a shady piece of shit he really was. And I saved all the emails, from him, and all my communications with him, saying, okay, so at this time, everybody's been aware that this time um, is when the press conference is going to take place, and I got his confirmation on there and everything, and he's like, okay, yeah, great, that sounds awesome, yeah, because he tries to be this fucking, he makes him out to be some kind of businessman, but I'm sorry, he's a fucking snake, he's a crook. Um, and anyway, so he gave her the wrong fucking time. Well, I went there at the allotted time. The one that I had confirmed with him was the correct time. As I'm getting there, I have nothing but there's a line of people in the hallway. First thing I did was I went up to the conference room. I let all the members of the press in, and I told them, I said, okay, you guys go ahead and set up your microphones. Go ahead and get your seating set up and all your camera shots. You guys got, I gave them like a good 35 minutes to get everything set up. And boy, they did that. To their credit, boy, they set that shit up. It looked like a real, Like the way they had the microphones set up. Like I don't know how old most of y'all are, but if you ever look at like drama, like crime dramas from like back in the fucking 80s and 90s, and how they usually set up all the different microphones from like the different TV stations all there, and it looks like this cornucopia of fucking multicolored microphone heads and shit. They set it up like that, and all the cables were neat, and they were all lined down, and oh man, they did an awesome fucking job. I was so proud of that crew that day, that year. You know, I really am. Um, so anyway, I went and I had something I had to go take care of. So then I went downstairs to go fetch the voice actors. Now these weren't the voice actors, and now before there's any confusion, these voice actors were the ones that were new ones that they brought in, and not the alumni, Animeland alumni, which is like Warki T. Chocobo, Yamila Abraham, Tango Wisty Holloway, all them. Those are Animeland alumni, and they are legend, and I love them. They're awesome. They're good people in my life, and they've been there for me through thick and thin. And but these were people that DFG brought in. He's the one that brought these people in because he wanted Animeland to be a bigger show. Which, okay, fine, I understand that, you know. But what made the whole, before I continue on, the other thing he did was he gave them a green room. Okay, he made them separate. He told them in their contracts that they had to be separated from the other guests, except for this list. And on their contract, there was a list of all the other guests that was going to be there, minus the quote unquote B-listers. I saw the fucking contracts. The guy was a piece of shit, right? Treating the other guests like they were fucking nothing. I'm sorry, but these are my fucking friends, you know? So, yeah, fuck that guy. I seriously hope you get Lou Gehrig's disease. Anyway, um, so, you know, so I went downstairs to go grab the quote unquote A-listers. And they're not A-listers. They have very notable roles. They are, but they're normal people. Like again, like me and you, they just have cool jobs. But to a lot of other people, they are considered A-list voice actors. I don't see why there's a ranking system, but whatever. Anyway, so I went down to go get them, and they weren't downstairs in the foyer. And I was like, what the fuck? So I went outside, which is the only other place, because I was like, yo, where's the voice actors? Oh, their handler's loading them up in the van and taking them back to the hotel. I said, the fuck? What? So I ran out there, and she had just finished loading, or I saw John DiMaggio just getting into the van, and their handler was about to close the door. And I said, wait, where you going? I said, they got an interview. And she gave me this fucking smirk. This smirk and this shrug, and fucking hopped in the van. I swear to God, dude, I burned that image into my fucking head. Oh, I was it. That is what fucking broke me. Um, and at that point, I snapped. I fucking snapped internally. I snapped. You know, this isn't some like Reddit story where you're like, and I snapped, and I slapped this person, and I kicked this. No, I internally and mentally snapped, and I had it. I couldn't do it anymore. So what I did, I went upstairs. Actually, instead of that, I went around and I grabbed, and I was angry when I did this, but none of the other guests could tell. You know, that's how good of an actor I am, I guess. None of the other guests could tell, but I went around and I grabbed all of the other guests that were there. I grabbed Warky. I grabbed Yamiya. I grabbed Tangle. I think Jamie McGonigal was there, I want to say. I grabbed all of these guests that DFG completely shit on in favor of the other voice actors, which is funny because these other voice actors, they know each other. I think Danielle McRae was there too, and she's a sweetheart. Yeah, it was Danielle McRae. She was there too. She was there, and so was oh gosh, Lori. Oh, man, I can't remember her name now. Damn it, she would slap the fuck out of me. But there was another voice actress that was there too, and she was an absolute Laura Post. Laura Post. She was there too. So I went and grabbed Danielle. I went and grabbed Laura. I think I grabbed Danielle. I'm pretty sure I grabbed Laura. I know I grabbed Tangle. I know I grabbed Yamiya. I grabbed Dwarky, and I brought them upstairs. And on the walk there, I explained what was going on. And they knew something was wrong with me. They knew. It was specifically Tangle. She knew. She knew what was wrong with me. She had a damn good idea of what was wrong with me. She could see it in my eyes. She could hear it in my tone. And I also want to say this. Before the con started, DFG decided for some fucking reason to hire these overpaid PR people from a different state. I forget her name. He hired two of them. Okay, he hired a guy and a girl. All right, I forget both their names because they're irrelevant. Why can I not find the way out? I don't remember their names because they're not important enough to remember. Okay, that's how much I don't care. They made life for me, or trying to get my press kits out and everything. They made everything for me so much more difficult because apparently, according to DFG, I had to run all my press kits by them, which I never had to do before. Because the con heads knew how I operated, they knew how I did things. They knew that they had nothing to worry about. And so I never needed to be fucking checked or any of that shit. They let me do my thing. My press kits always came out just fine. There were never any problems. But apparently I had to run my shit by Dancing Fighter G because he just has to be important. Well, he's not important, okay? Well, anyway, he had brought in these fucking PR goons, okay? Who actually, it's funny, ended up getting drunk and fucking each other, and one of them was married. So I wonder how that played out. So sucks to be you, Phil. But that's what I was told. You know. So yeah, good choice, DFG. Choose a piece of shit. So anyway, so she's up there. She's already in the conference room. I walked in, and I said, okay, well. I tried to keep it together. I tried to keep it together and compose myself beforehand. Why am I walking in my house? To compose myself beforehand and say, okay, well, unfortunately, I need all the cobblestone for my next project. I said, unfortunately, the voice actors that I was going to get, they decided that they just... Their handler, I threw her handler under the fucking bus at that point. I did not care. I was like, their handler decided that y'all time, your outlets weren't good enough, and that their time wasn't enough. Apparently, she decided that or whatever. So, like I said, I threw her under the bus. I don't feel bad about it. And so I said, I'm sorry, but in the second before I could even finish, okay, the PR girl that was there, she decided to stand up and overmind me. Now, bear in mind, I was a fucking director, okay? Right up there with the con chairs. She's going to overtalk on me and say, okay, everybody go ahead and pack your stuff and go ahead and leave the conference room. I'd lost it at that point. I said, you shut the fuck up right now. And she just gives me this shocked look like, oh, how dare you? At that point, I said, no. You know what? I made a plan. I said, I have a plan B. And I opened the door. I said, come on in. And in filed all the other voice actors, the ones that I went and gathered. Not the ones, I'm not saying they were better than the ones that were there. They had nothing to do with it. It wasn't their fault. But they walked in. They all sat down. And at that point, I lost it. I lost it. All of the emotions that I had from how bad the experience was that year, to the shit that DFG was doing and making me doing and all this other shit that I didn't want to do. I mean, like, everything just came out. Oh, it's not nighttime? Oh, it's fucking raining. Well, it's like it's raining down here. All that shit that had happened up until that point and during that weekend had just came flooding out. And I went off and I said, there was a few things that I regret saying. But I said, these are the people that make this con possible. These are the people that make this con fun. These are the people that sacrifice time away from their families and their friends and their children to come here and to entertain and to say thank you for supporting my work and to get back to the fans. And the whole time I'm saying this, I have tears coming down my face because I lost it, man. I had my emotions had completely just erupted. I was that broken. So I mentioned Justin. I said, and at the end of it is when I started to crack. I was like, and then there's one person who's not here and who can't be here because he passed away recently. And at that point, I excused myself. My room was actually down the hall from the conference room. I went down to my room, and wow, this music fits. I went down to my room and just fucking bawled. I fucking bawled. I hard cried too. I'm talking ugly cry. Like, crack the mirror kind of cry, you know? And it was a good 10, 15 minutes. You know, I just let it all the fuck out. And, so I cleaned myself up, cooled down, and I went back into the room. And they were having a fantastic press conference. They were. And, the press conference went great. It really did. And after the conference was over, I forget her name. Excuse me. But she came up and she gave me the biggest hug ever. And it was probably something that I needed, honestly. Because after that, I got hugs from fucking everybody. Because word got around that I had lost my shit. But they didn't realize what I was going through. They didn't realize how bad it affected me. Because again, some of my problems is I never actually talk about shit that bothers me. You know, that's something that I've been working on for years, and it's gotten a lot better. But at the time, I was just like, no, fuck no. I'm a man. I can't say anything because I'm a man, you know. But anyway, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so she gave me this big ass hug, super tight hug. And she goes, that was the most human I've ever seen anybody be in real life. And I was just like, wow, I didn't really know what to say. You know, it kind of made me think like the kind of caliber of people that she was, you know, that she associates with or has seen before in the past. I don't remember her name. I know I'm almost certain she's still on my Facebook. But yeah, she said that to me, and that was really sweet. It really was. So anyway, so after that, you know, the weekend started to slow down a bit, and after that, my time at Animeland started to get worse and worse. There was one good year, actually. Enderman? Having a spastic? Okay. There was one good year, and I'll get to that shortly. Not all the years were bad. Towards the end of my tenure there, it was kind of shit, but there was one year that was actually really good. But anyway, I found out years later that DFG had... Now, here's the other thing that happened, okay? Oh no, it might have been the same year, I think. I don't know if it was the same year, but the Megas performed... yeah, it was. Yeah, okay. So the same year that Justin had passed away and that this disaster, debacle, or whatever had happened, I managed to get the Megas, which is they're an indie band. They play primarily Mega Man songs, which everybody knows I'm a huge fan of that series. I'm a huge fan of them. I know them personally. They're a great fucking group of guys. I think I'm probably a little bit better friends with Double D, who's their keyboardist. Him and I actually went to the rap party for Cuphead when it happened in L.A. when I lived in West Los Angeles a couple of years ago. He had nobody to go with, and I was like, "Shit, dude, I'll go with." He came and scooped me up, and we went to the rap party, and we had a blast. It was fun. I got to chill out with him, and I would love to. 1010 would do again. um, anyway, so but that year there was an issue, and a lot of the other people were staying. A lot of the guests and everything were staying in the other hotel. Well, something happened where money disappeared and um, people were charged for their room, or people were charged for their rooms, and it was a huge clusterfuck. It really was, and it has since been fixed. It's the issue has since been resolved, but whenever our what's the word I want to look for, detractors had found out about the botch, of course they were the first people to jump on Facebook. Oh, that's Animeland for you. Yep, stealing money and all this other shit. And I'm like, you're only saying it, like they would shut up the second that I called them out for being racist, because that's really their only motive. Most of them knows, like I said, their only fucking motivation for posting and talking shit was because it was black folk that ran the con, and that was their only motivation. Me, I didn't care who the fuck ran it. I don't give a shit who they were. They were friends of mine. They're still friends of mine. Even I'm not on here shit talking because I know better. But oh, is that Diamond? It's Diamond. But that's part of their motivation. It's like it was so fucking stupid and ignorant and childish. But anyway, um, so what had happened, and there's conflicting stories to this. Okay, one person tells me that DFG, well, from what I understand, DFG stole money from Animeland, a huge chunk of money, and left with it. And some people tell me it was 100K, and some people say it was 300,000, and some people say that it was closer to half a million. And I'm like, I don't think it's half a million because there's no fucking plausible way that con would have made half a million on ticket sales, despite the fact that we had all those voice actors that are going to be there. Like, there's no. Wow, there's more diamond than I thought. I was like, there's no plausible way that would be, there's no way. I was just I was really scared. Whoa. Whoa. Gravel. It's a shitty indie band. I'm just kidding. Alright. Yeah. Give me that diamond. Diamond. Oh, hold on a second. Let me see if this works. Apparently, if you set a torch down, right there. Holy shit, it does work. Oh. I stand corrected. Anyway, give me that diamond. Pop my torch. Alright. Anywho. So apparently, yeah, he had stolen a metric fuck ton of money from us. And wrote a hot check that bounced, and people were looking to sue his ass, and I think at one point he tried reaching out to us for help or something like that, and we were just like, go fuck yourself. So, I mean, that dark cloud does have a bit of a silver lining. I truly hope that the cops caught up with his ass and put him in jail for all the thievery and money he stole from us. But because of that, unfortunately, Billy West never wants to do any would never have any association with Animeland ever again, which really kind of sucks, but I guess you can't say I blame him, even though it really wasn't our fault. But you know what? It's whatever. It is what it is. I can say that I met the guy, and he was very impressed with my work ethic, and I at least I can at least die knowing that I got to meet him, and he was impressed, and that's all that matters to me. Anyway. So, where was I? Right. So, oh gosh. What was next? Right. So the next thing that happened was we ended up getting another sponsor. This guy. I don't remember his name. I only remember what he looks like. He's a short, little, bald potato. Okay? He's got a short guy complex. And by short guy complex, this is by no way talking smack on people who are vertically challenged. He is an angry short man with a short guy complex, so he's like, oh, like he's just naturally fucking mad. Usually short, bald, not balding, just bald, and is just a general dick to everybody, but thinks he's hot shit. Okay, this guy, I can't remember his fucking name, but he actually runs cons, or at least ran them, primarily on the East Coast. And if I could remember the name of a con, I'd tell you, but I don't, because again, he's not important enough for me to remember, so why bother? But anyway, so him and his very trashy wife, who she says that she is a professional cosplayer. Okay. Here's the thing. I don't, not really one to bash on somebody's personal appearance, but she really was trashy. Not in the look sense, just in the way she carried herself. I mean, like, the fact that she decided to be the one to work registration, she put herself there, by the way. We didn't assign her a job. So the history with sponsors with Animeland. I'm jumping forward. Let me give a little context. The history with sponsors and Animeland, where Animeland is concerned, is sometimes they give the sponsors far too much freedom. And by that logic, I mean that from what I've seen, when they started bringing in sponsors, they basically allowed them to do whatever the fuck they wanted to do. And I'm like, no, I knew that. I knew for a fact that that's not how a sponsor works. A sponsor doesn't control the aspects of anything. If what you do as a sponsor is you are sponsoring either a portion or all of an event or some kind of a gathering or something, right? And depending on the nature of the sponsor, I'm sure that you don't really have a lot of influence, but if you've got a brand or something that needs to be promoted, then that's what they want to do is they want to focus on promoting of the brand or something like that. Well, anyway, what this person was doing was essentially using his money to try to take over another con. And that's exactly what he was trying to do. He was trying to take over Animeland Wasabi, and his plan was, and he was very vocal about it, his plan was to fire all of us and replace it with his staff. He he brought in his press guy to show me his quote unquote show me the ropes. I told him to fuck off. Plain and simple. He brought his press guy in. I told him to fuck right off. The second that his guy showed up and started telling me what I needed to do through email, I said, dude, you can eat my ass. I don't want your help. I don't need your help. You can stay in wherever the fuck you're at and don't get involved in my work. Plain and simple. I was not nice. Because at this point in time, I had had enough of the bullshit. After everything that I dealt with where the previous year was concerned, I was over it. I had had enough. I didn't want to deal with the shit anymore. So at that point, I was like, was I looking for a reason to get fired? Kinda. But I was fed up. I couldn't deal with it anymore. Give me the diamonds. But anyway, so an incident happened at this con. If you remember back earlier in the stream where I had mentioned that there was a podcast group that currently e-begs online, I won't name their name because I'm not going to send you poor souls to their website to go look at the pathetic asses e-begging or whatever. But let's just say that they decided to show up. I had banned them from the con because of their bullshit. I had I didn't have the power to ban them. Unlike Ginny McManus, who just banned me to ban me, I actually went through the proper channels. And I went to the con heads with the evidence. I went with the emails, with the conversations, everything. I went with a stack of shit. And I showed them everything, and they flat out told me, they gave me express permission to say, go ahead. If they request press access, let them know that they are not allowed to attend this press, but they can show up as attendees. I said, that's fine. And I was okay with that. Why can I not find a way out of here? And I was totally fine with that. I had no qualms with that. I was like, I wasn't going to ban them. I just didn't want them there as press. You know? But if they were showing up as press, then they would get a free they would get a free pass. Why can I not find the way out? Because it's right here. You know what? Because as press you get free badges, but I'll go over all that stuff later. Anyway, so they emailed me requesting access, requesting press badges, and I flat out denied them. I was like, you know what? Based on past events and issues outside of the con, I'm not going to be giving you. I've been instructed not to give you press badge access at this time. However, this does not mean you are banned from the convention, and you are free to attend so long as you purchase a badge for the weekend. I made that explicitly in the email. It was there. I've shown that email on numerous occasions, and people that I've shown that were once people calling me a liar, I showed them the email, and they didn't have shit to say after the fact. So that's what you get for doubting me. But anyway, so so naturally, what did they do? Oh, Bo banned us all from fucking going to the con. It's only because we're friends with Ginny McManus. And I'm like, I did not fucking do it. I'm like, do you hear yourself? You know, and they were playing the victim is what they were doing. I mean, let's be honest. They were trying to rally support, and of course people were like, oh, I'll go and I'll deal with him, and I'll message him directly and I'll take care of him. I'm like, what the fuck? They had people that were, all these keyboard warriors are on there talking shit like, oh, if I see him, I'm gonna kick his ass. You're really not. It's funny, but it's just funny. And I would call them out too. I'd see them talking shit, and then I would call them out. Like, you're gonna kick whose ass? What are you gonna do about it, buddy? Well, I'm just saying. I'm like, you're not gonna do nothing, you fat piece of shit. You're not gonna do nothing. You are nothing. You'll never be nothing. So, and then of course, I would get, well, this isn't how a director of press and media asked. I said, well, first of all, I'm not on the Animeland Facebook page, so this is me you're talking to. All right, and second of all, I didn't start this shit. They did. They're whining and crying and kicking and screaming because they fucked up and they're paying the price for it. I said, there's more to the story than you know, but you're obviously taking sides, so whatever. But so anyway, they ended up showing up anyway, but here's the fucked up part. Not only did they show up, they went to the sponsor, because apparently they knew the sponsor. They went to the sponsor. I'm going to just wait here for nightfall because I haven't slept in a couple of days. They went to the sponsor, and he overruled my decision and the con chair's decision. A sponsor has no authority to do that. Okay? So it's around the time that the cosplay contest was happening, all right? And I was letting the press outlets in early so they could get good spots for it, because the room was kind of small, so I was letting them in early so they could get good spots for photography, and if they needed microphones or whatever. I usually try to let my press people in there early so they can get a good spot, like I said, to set up for photos and video and all that stuff. And here those two come down the hallway. And I said, can I help you with something? They're like, yeah, we won in a cosplay competition. I said, well, press is getting set up right now. Once they're done, when everybody else is allowed to go in, you can go in. You know how this works. You've done this before. Oh, no, we're press. I said, no, you're not. I'm sorry, but this year I said no to the press badges. You know why. I'm not going to go through this again. Well, the sponsor, like I said, don't remember his name. It's like, well, the sponsor said we could be press. I said, well, the sponsor doesn't run this con. So at that point, because I'm arguing with the guy, his girlfriend tries to shove me. Okay? I don't personally... Okay. Don't step up to me if you're not going to do something. If that makes any sense. Alright? She tried to shove me, so I popped her hand up, and I said, don't you touch me. He put his fucking hands on me. I shoved him back. And I said, you're not getting in this room. Get the fuck out of here before I call the police. He brought his fucking camera up and started recording me. He started recording me and my reaction after his girlfriend touched me and he tried to shove me and physically move me. If it weren't be for the fact that there were kids in that hallway, I'd have beaten the fuck out of both of them. Both of them. You're hearing me right. Both of them. Don't fucking put hands on me, ever. I don't give a fuck what gender you are. Do not touch me. Plain and simple. Alright? Not to mention, she did stab me with something, too. I don't know what the fuck it was. I think it was an ink pen. Because I had shown because it was pretty deep in my side. And I had some friends actually take a look, and it was like 3 of them had actually saw a big, pretty fucking gnarly round circle in there. You know, so there was a lot of yelling and screaming. I shoved him back, and he put the camera up in my face and everything like that. He's like, yeah, go ahead, say it again, threaten me again. I said, I'm not threatening you, get the fuck out of here, I'm calling the fucking cops, you know. So he puts me, so there is a video. Well, he had one, I'm pretty sure he's got it somewhere. The fucker posted it up on YouTube, okay. I struck it down. I did. I'll admit it right fucking now. I struck it down. I know I went on and said, no, I didn't strike it down, I didn't fucking do it. No, I fucking did. And you know what? I don't give a shit. I did do it. Oh, fucking well. Get over it. The guy's a piece of shit, and I swear to God, if I have had one regret for moving from Colorado, it's not beating the fuck out of him when I had the chance. I'll say that right now publicly. He's lucky. That's all I'm going to say. Alright. So anyway, after that, one of the concierge comes to find me. And I'm like, what's going on? Oh, well, the sponsor wants to talk to you about what happened a little bit ago. I said, oh, fuck. I was like, what does he want to talk to me about? He's not a concierge. What does he got to do with it? Well, you know, he put some money into this stuff, so he has a little bit of say. I said, since when? Since when do sponsors have a say in cons? Because they don't. And they don't. They really, really don't. And this has been fact-checked by lots of people who run cons. But anyway, so to go outside, it's starting to snow. And we're out in the pool area, and both the concierges are out there, I'm out there, and then this short little fucking thumb comes outside, and he said, what's the problem? And he threw an attitude at me right off the bat. Alright, so that's like strike number 1. And I said, okay, well, let me give... Now, I thought he wanted to know what the situation was, so I was going to just give him a brief summary of what happened that led up to that point. And he just kept saying, what's the problem? And then finally, when I had enough of his attitude, I fucking got in his face, and I said, hey, boy, you don't fucking talk to me like that. I don't give a fuck who you are. Don't you dare talk to me like that. And I was ready to fight. But here's the thing. I always carry a knife on me. Well, at the time, I always carried a knife on me. My right hand, went to my knife that I usually keep in my pocket, okay? Now, I wasn't going to cut him, but I was going to use it as a fist pack. Because the second that motherfucker was going to put hands on me, I was going to just jaw-jack him. My adrenaline was already spiked from dealing with the 2 idiots in front of the cosplay fucking place. So my adrenaline was already fucking peaking. I was just, at that point, I was already on edge, right? So then he, of course, he's a bitch. He's a little fucking manlet, and he's just, you need to tell him. You need to tell him. I said, no. They don't need to tell me shit, motherfucker. It's you and me. Let's go. You got something to say? Say it. Say it. He's like, well, you're fucking fired. I said, you ain't got that fucking power, you little bitch. You know, so at that point, professionalism was completely gone, right? And I just let off. I let off with every fucking insult. I insulted him. I insulted his fucking wife. I didn't care. You know, I just went off. I wanted this guy to hit me. I wanted an excuse to beat the fuck out of this guy. And you know what? He didn't. He kept backing off like the fucking cucklord he is. And then, but he said some fucked up shit too. He's like, you know what? He's like, I own you, I own them, and I own this fucking con, and you're fucking fired. And I said, you're gonna sit there and let him say that he fucking owns you? And mind you, these are two black folks, by the way. And I said, you're gonna sit there and see this guy that he fucking owns you, and that he owns this con that you guys work so fucking hard to build? Is that what it's come down to? And then neither one of them said shit. Neither one of them said a fucking thing. And I said, all right, done. And I took my badge and I flicked it at his bitch ass, and I walked the fuck back inside, and I went right up to my fucking hotel room, and accidentally walked in on one of my one of my female friends changing into her Tinkerbell cosplay, and she was topless. Sorry. To this day, I'm still sorry. I mean, I didn't know you had him pierced, just saying. But I'm sorry. To this day, I'm still sorry. I love you. But nah. So I told everybody what had happened, and I ended up leaving. And this was the same year that we had gotten Stuart Zagnut, who is the voice of Professor Oak from Pokemon. We got him. We got Lucian Dodge, who is the voice of Dust in Dust and Elysian Tale, that really cool Metroidvania-esque action hack and slash. The one that has the Tinkerbat fidget. Widget. Fidget? No, is it Widget or Fidget? Fidget. I don't know. She's fucking adorable. But yeah, it's basically a game that's pretty much made for furries, which, no disrespect, furries are cool. I got no problems with furries. They never did me none wrong. But it's a great game. If you haven't played it, it's called Dust and Elysian Tale. Play it. Love it. Awesome. Lucian Dodge voices the main character, Dust. But you'll probably fall in love with Fidget. Because everybody else does. I mean, she's an angel dragon. Figure it out. So anyway, at that point, I went and I said goodbye to Stuart, because he was a sweet old man. Really is. Very, very nice guy. He was everybody's grandpa that weekend. And he's such a cool dude, too. He actually he cosplayed as Professor Oak for that weekend. So whenever somebody would come up to get an autograph or something, he would talk in Professor Oak's voice. It's like, "Oh, you'll be a great Pokemon trainer." I can't mimic that voice, but if you think missing how Professor Oak sounded, I guess, in the old original Pokemon, the 4Kids dub or whatever the fuck, that's Stuart's voice. So you can hear that every time. And he's such a sweet, sweet old man. Very nice guy. So that was, at that point, I was done. I had had enough. And I went home. And a lot of my friends went home with me, because they were like, well, fuck this con. If that's how they're going to treat you, then we aren't done. We're done. We're done supporting it. I was gone 24 hours. 24 hours. I get a call from one of the con chairs. Hey, we're doing the after con dinner, and we want you to be here. I was like, okay, you fucking fired me. Well, she goes, well, no, actually, the sponsor fired you, and we got rid of the sponsor. So fuck that guy. You're with us, and we want you to be here. And I was like, I said, you know what? I'm not gonna lie. This is gonna be real hard to do, because y'all didn't have my back when I needed it. And they're like, well, we can talk about it. We can talk about it whenever you get here. Meet here for the con dinner, which is this. It was an IHOP, I think it was. Shut up, hey, what are you barking at? It was an IHOP that was like, I don't know. It was like where a little bit away from where the hotel was. So we get there, and you know what? They wanted everybody to tell their personal thoughts. And boy, did I let them have it. I told them, I said, I felt betrayed. I felt y'all had stabbed me in the fucking back. I said, I have sacrificed a lot of my personal... Is that a treehouse? Oh, that's a witch's abode. Ooh. I'm going to kill her real quick. I said, I have sacrificed so much of my personal livelihood, of sleep. I'm just like, I'd let off. I fucking told him exactly how I felt. And that it was unfair, and that they should have had my back, and they didn't. And that I was fucking pissed. I was absolutely pissed. And all they could do was just sit there and hang their heads. You know? But I mean, like, I can't blame them. Like, what else are they supposed to say? Should they have had my back right then and there when that fucking thumb was telling me all that shit? Absolutely. 100%. They should have stood in and said something, but no. Fuck no. They couldn't be bothered. So am I jaded about it to this day? Yeah, a little bit. Not so much as I was then. I was fucking pissed about it then. Oh my god, hop up. I was fucking livid. I was like, I mean, I went to bat for these people constantly, fighting with fucking idiots on the line, defending the brand, defending the actions when I probably shouldn't have had to. I did all that stuff, and I didn't even have to, but I did that because somebody had to. You know what I mean? And the one time that I needed them to do it, the most, they couldn't be bothered. They couldn't be bothered. And they let this manlet piece of trash do this, run the con, just try to take over a con, and that was it for me. I was done. Flash forward a couple of years, and I think the last con they had wasn't a bad con. It was actually pretty small. We kind of went back to our basics on that one, and which is what we should have did a long time ago. And no, that's not a graphical error. I actually cut down the trees, and the leaves are still floating because they're still tree blocks. I know that annoys some people. So if you have OCD, nah. It's my game. Piss off. The last con they did was a small con. They didn't have a whole lot of guests, but they went back to basics, and they actually did really well. The detractors that are normally very critical of the con because they've been in the business for so many years, right? They actually came out and said, you know what, this was a really good con. Animeland is looking like it's trying to redeem itself. And then that was it. I think that was the last con that they did. And I had not seen or heard of any revivals. And honestly, even if it does, if the con chairs were to reach out to us and say, hey, we're going to be doing another show, I'm not doing it. I'm done. I am 100% done. So 2 hours into this, you know, and gonna start wrapping up because, you know, this is the tail end of it. So how did working for Animeland affect me now? Well, I don't think I could ever work for a convention ever again. Just because I don't care if that con is a well-oiled machine and has been around for X amount of years or whatever the fuck. I don't care. There's so much fucking drama that happens behind the scenes of a convention. You have no idea. You have no idea how much drama happens behind the fucking scenes. And it's especially during crunch time where everything is chaotic. Oh fuck no. You have no idea. Okay? I wouldn't do it again. I don't want to go through that. And I had one of the easiest jobs, or at least from their version. Literally, as a press director, okay, this was my job. Okay, I would verify the press credentials for anybody who leading up to the con. Okay, I would be creating press kits, which are packages of information relating to like the con itself. So like if we were announcing the return of a fan favorite for voice actor or something like that, or if we were announcing like something major like a hotel change or whatever. That's what a press kit is supposed to contain. A press kit just contains information that is sent out to publications, and then from there they draft an article with that information, and it lets people know, and then the information spreads that way. Word of mouth. It is the probably the greatest and cheapest form of advertisement because it's free and it's effective. Keep that in mind. Um, so I would draft press kits. I would get information. Well, let me rephrase that. The con chairs are supposed to give you information to when it comes available to give you that information so you can draw up a press kit and send it out. I was never given information, and I don't give a fuck if they hear this and they go, "Oh, no, that's not true. We gave you all the information." No, bullshit. You didn't. You didn't do it, and you're a fucking liar if you say otherwise. Because I asked, I had to ask, I had to ask to get the information that you should have already been providing, and you know this. You knew this going into it because I constantly reminded you. I told you time and time again, hey, if you're gonna need press kits, you have to keep in touch with me and let me know what's going on. Oh yeah, sure, we'll totally do that. Did they? Nope, didn't work, didn't happen. So they can sit there and tell me no all they want. Don't fucking lie. You were wrong for that. All right, that's your own damn fault. Um, so I so that's that. That's their responsibility is to be able to give you information so you can do that. The other thing is that you will get emails. You get a lot of emails actually from a lot of press outlets. Now, this is where things get tricky. You can't, as a press director, you can't just admit every single person. You can't give every single person who claims to be a member of the press a press badge. Fucking spider. It doesn't work that way because there's a lot of people who pretend that they have a press outlet or a blog or something, and they're just looking to get free access to a con. There's a lot of legwork involved where that's concerned. You know what? I should be saving this for the tail end for con experience though. Well, it's fine. Um, there is a lot of legwork involved where that's concerned, and if you do your research properly, you can 9 times out of 10 tell when somebody's full of shit about their press credentials and just trying to get a free pass. If you just do, 5 minutes of fucking research, it's really not that hard. But some people can't be bothered with it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, um, so yeah, just something to keep in mind, for anybody. But anyway, that was pretty much it. That's literally what my job was. Okay, and then if there were any questions or comments or concerns or whatever the fuck, where the con was concerned, I was always able to. I was told and instructed to bring them to the correct parties, and I did, and it fell on deaf ears because that's just the kind of luck I have. And yeah, it's like, what do you want me to do? So anyway, as far as where I stand with cons nowadays, would I ever work for a con again? Like I said, no, I would not. After the experience that I had working with Animeland Wasabi, it seriously, and the crap that I dealt with where NDK was concerned, and that whole dramatic situation, which again, Violet Wanderer's podcast for the full story. Honestly, I don't think I could do it. I really don't. Just because I went in there with really good intentions. I wanted to do something. I wanted to be, even for somebody who was not big into anime like so many others were, I was still willing to go there and at least be an ally, and be like, listen, I may not be into the same thing that you're into, but if you need something, I'm here for you. You know what I mean? And I can't do it. I'm not jaded, I guess. I mean, I don't want people to think that I am, because I'm not. I'm broken. My spirit is broken where it comes to being to ever working for a convention again. Um, in fact, as recent as 2019, uh, I helped out at a con in Idaho. I helped out. Actually, the people running the con were good friends of mine, Tango Wista Holloway, and author John Farmer, or excuse me, publisher John Farmer. He's the owner of Fantastic Journeys Publishing. Good friends of mine. He's like a brother to me. He, they run the cosplay repair room at that con, and that's only because one of the things that people don't know about Tanglewist outside of her being a phenomenal author is that she's been a costumer for like 35 years. I mean, her work is really good, really really good. So naturally, she is like the best person to run a cosplay repair room. And I went with him to help out with the managing of the people and to, you know, kind of help the load out a little bit. I don't know shit about sewing. I feel bad, honestly, because they had to do a lot of the work. I know I maybe should have gotten a couple of lessons, I guess, from Tangle beforehand. That way I could have helped out a little bit because there were some people that needed like zippers sewn back on, and there were some people who needed some major repair work. And man, she got that. She nailed it, and she of course she's very well loved and liked at that con. In fact, if I recall, she her cosplay that she did for that year was oh God, what's her name? Kikyo from in Inuyasha. That was it. Yeah, Kikyo. Um, so she had the bow and arrow and the patch and the oba. I don't know. I forget the type of um, the type of attire that Kikyo wears, but again, I don't know. But anyway, she showed up, and man, the second that they announced her name when she went on stage and she was in character, God, the pop from the crowd was ridiculous. Like, I didn't realize how many fans she actually had, and it was crazy. It was so cool. But I just helped out in that room. Like, I wasn't like on a major, I wasn't like, director status or staffer status or something like that. I just did it to help them out, to help my friends out, not the con itself. Um, Although I was grateful that the con did hook me up with a free badge to be able to go in there. And while I was there, I got a chance to meet Erica Harlacher, who is the voice actress for An Takamaki in Persona 5. Super sweet woman. Um, Very nice to talk to. Very lovely personality. Um, Unfortunately, had a handler, but that's okay. I'll give her a pass just this one time. Uh, I'm sorry. You don't seem to understand. I really fucking hate handlers. I really do. I truly, truly do. Now, if this person was like a relative or something, then yeah, obviously they'll get a free pass. But if this was just some fucking rando that they pay to go out there and make sure they get their lattes in the morning or some shit, fuck off. You're a grown person. But nah, dealing with her was really sweet. I think they had oh gosh, she's the voice of Android 17. What's his fucking name? It's oh man, Chuck Huber. He was there that year. And then there was another voice actress. I couldn't remember her name, but she had a very high pitched voice. She was very sweet, super nice. But she was there. She came in that morning to grab some stuff for something. But anyway, I don't remember her name, unfortunately. But anyway, it was still very, very wonderful time. And that was like one of my biggest takeaways from this negative shit experience, is that I got to meet a lot of different voice actors, and a lot of them got to know me, and a lot of them remember me on a first name basis too. And again, it's because I speak to them as an individual and not as their character, and that's something that we'll get into here in a second. Um, I just, one of the things that I like to point out is that I won't work at a con again. As far as going to a convention, again, that's kind of up in the air. I I don't know. Going to a con, maybe, because I mean, I don't know. It's different because again, I'm older, dude. I'm 37 years old. Okay. I mean, I could get away with going to like Comic Con because it's for all ages. And there really is an older crowd that does go to Comic Con. But for like anime conventions, though, I don't know. I would stick out like a sore thumb. I damn sure wouldn't go by myself, though. That's for sure. I always want to go with people because I would feel less awkward. But as a 37-year-old going to a convention with a bunch of fucking 20 year olds, I don't know. I don't think I would feel comfortable doing that. So maybe at some point, I'd maybe go to one of the. I know they have cons that are for. They're few and far between. I think there's one in Texas, but they're like 21 only, 21 and up only. Like it's like an adult convention. It's not an adult convention like adult in the porn sense, but it's an adult convention. It's for like anime for adults or whatever. But even then, I still think I'd feel a little bit overwhelmed by that one. But there are conventions that are out there for people of my age, and maybe I'll consider trying it out if I happen to get bored with life or have a midlife crisis or some shit. Anyway, so to wrap up this little tale that you guys have stuck with me for 2 hours, um, if you're trying to become a staffer for a con, don't let my experience sully that. Because my experience was my experience. It does not mean that very same thing can happen to you. Okay? I just have a really shitty deck of cards of life that are long overdue for a reshuffle. I If you want to be a staffer, there's a few things that you need to understand. Okay, you'll have a lot of responsibilities depending on what you're doing. You will have more responsibilities thrust onto you than you would as a volunteer. With a volunteer, you're only doing so much or doing one thing, and then you get to fuck off and enjoy the con for the rest of the weekend. But as a staffer, you won't get a chance to actually enjoy the con in full like you would be as a volunteer. I need you to understand that. If you're a staffer, you're going to have to be doing your job during the weekend, which means that finding time to go out and go out and hit the dealer's room and see if you can walk away with some swag or attend a panel or something like that. You may not get that opportunity, but again, that totally depends on what your role is. Now, because I was press, I was able to go and check in on panels, and most of my job consisted of texting, talking face to face with the press outlets that would show up, talking to the voice actors and other guests to get an idea of their schedule, so I could schedule excuse me, so I could schedule an interview. That's what I did. So I was always on the go. I lost a ton of weight working at cons, and now I got fat because of COVID. So pretty soon here I got to hit the fucking gym so I can lose the COVID weight. But the thing is that it depends on whatever your role is, determines how much free time you'll actually have as a con staffer. If you're a con head, yeah, good luck with that. If you work with the guests, that's all you're going to be doing is working with the guests. If they don't have handlers, which they shouldn't, in my opinion, you'll be their point of contact. You'll be the one that they contact when they need something, or, you know, however it works. Okay, some guests are divas. Oh, there's a village over there. Some guests are divas. Some guests aren't. Did that rabbit just kill itself? Holy shit. Thanks for the fur, yo. Ow. Get out of here, bunny. God, I actually feel bad about that now. Some guests are better than others. I'm not going to lie. I have come across some guests that they were assholes. You know, they were very rude to me. I think maybe two that I can count for sure, that were just downright rude to me, and never want to fucking see him again. I That's okay, because two guests out of the plethora of ones that I've met that have been super cool and super chill and down to earth, I would take that over them two bitches in a heartbeat. I would. Um, so that's always something. Anyway, so if you want to be a staffer, just be prepared to work your ass off, and yeah, just remember that it is for a weekend, and just be mindful that, you know, a con, for people who attends a con or work behind the scenes, a con is supposed to be for fun. Yes, they can get stressful. Yes, there can be a lot of drama. And yes, the rumors are true. Sometimes, amongst con staff, people do fuck each other a lot. It's very rampant. And no, not me specifically, but I'd be lying if I said that was okay. I'm lying actually, but there are uh, there are a lot of things that goes on behind the scenes, and some of it's good, some of it's bad, and some of it's just, you know what, it's an up and down. Okay. The only takeaway from this I want you to understand is that, yes, when it comes to conventions, I'm a little jaded. No, I will never work for another con again. No, I will never work for Animeland again. I love my Animeland family, that you know, that I still converse with to this day. But would I ever work with them again? No. There were some people on staff that I got along with great, and even the con chairs I got along with just fine. I just didn't agree with a lot of the decisions that they made, and because of those decisions is why I'm like, I'll never work with you guys ever again, because history uh, will repeat itself. I know it fucking will, and I don't want to go through that again. I really, really don't. Um, I think the next time I'm gonna do a different world. This isn't the normal world that I play Minecraft in. I have one called the Hunter's Dream, where I have essentially repurposed a mansion and turned it into to that. But this one was just something that I created for no real fucking reason, I think. Uh, anyway, so that's about it. That was the Animeland story. Um, with a bit of drama mixed into it. I'm sorry. I don't know if anybody was expecting a lot of shade to be thrown, but in reality, it's just I'm not going to name drop because again, I don't want to start a witch hunt. And if these people know about this stream, they'll know it. They'll know who I'm talking about. People that know me know who I'm talking about. So it's not like, you know, it's not some big fucking secret. But for those of you who've never seen it before, maybe it's best that you don't know. Just know that some of these people, they got issues. They had issues. I don't know what they're like now. Maybe they're better. Maybe they're not. I most certainly don't want to see them again. But anyway, my the Ginny McManus story is from the podcast from the Violet Wanderers. I don't remember the episode, but you can actually go to their Twitter. It is they post it, or you can tweet them at Violet Wanderers. You can follow me on Twitter at BoboFett. I'm also on Instagram now for whatever god awful reason. So you can follow me there at Tanuki. It's all in the description below. I'm not going to be live streaming tomorrow. I have things to take care of. I might live stream within the coming days. I don't have a schedule yet. But the Minecraft and memories I want to start doing on Saturdays. So that's when they're going to be, because that'll give me a week to remember shit, because I have the worst fucking memory. Um, if Minecraft and Memories does come out, it'll be on a Saturday. I'm not saying every Saturday, but on a Saturday is when that would happen. Chill streams are going to be just every now and then when I get bored or something like that. As far as returning to any of the series that I was working on with the Side Chick Side Guy edition of Resident Evil 5, that's gonna wait until I actually get a PS4 of my own. The one I'm using now is on loan from a friend of mine. So I would feel more comfortable downloading shit onto a PS4 that belongs to me as opposed to a buddy of mine. That being said, thank you all so very much for sitting in and listening to a trip down memory lane. If you'd like to ask any questions regarding anything within that, you can tweet me or you can go ahead and ask me in the comment section below. Um, Also, always like, subscribe, and put that notification bell. So anytime that you miss a stream, you'll get a notification when it uploads, and you can go back and watch it and listen to my very gravelly, albeit sexy voice. That said, much love to all of you, and I will see you all later on the next time. Peace out.